and how there was this prophecy, and many people have spoken about this who have discovered this prophecy by Saint Malachi. Even renowned prophecy, he would call himself expert, Hal Lindsey, has spoken about this, the final Pope prophecy, right?
Just remember here, this prophecy is not from God.
No.
This prophecy came from the demonic host, but it has been uncannily accurate.
Yeah.
And it said that, that there would be from Pope Clement II to the last pope, there would be 112 popes. And then it gave a brief symbolism of each one. The characteristic of each one. Each one of these popes has fulfilled precisely each the characteristics. So including Benedict, who is really Cardinal Joseph Ratzinger of Germany, and he took the name Benedict from the order of the of the Benedictines, and their symbol was the olive, or the olive tree, and the 111th Pope was supposed to have a symbol of the olive. So it's just amazing. So when Benedict leaves, the 112th and last Pope, Peter the Roman, Petrus Romanus, is to be the last Pope.
And a lot of people, David, are still having this feeling of the end is near. We talked about 2012 and all the anticipation. Nothing really happened, but we had a meteor come and zoom through Russia this past week and caused havoc there, injured over 1,000 people. And a lot of people, it said there, even in Russia, thought it was a sign of the end. A lot of people have this kind of sense or anticipation anyway, looking at the current state of the world, right?
Yeah, they do. They do. And I think part of that is the work of the Holy Spirit, and part of that is just a lot of people throughout history have seen a sign and thought that that meant that the end of the age was close, and they were wrong, of course. But now Jesus said in Matthew 24, he says, when you see all of these signs taken together, coming together,
yeah,
you shall know that the end thereof is nigh. And he pegged that to a specific event, and that was the rebirth of Israel. So when Israel was reborn in 1948, knowledgeable Bible scholars began to say that if this now all of the prophecies of the end of the age will start happening together as a unit. They'll start coming true, and they have been.
Like a countdown. And for a lot of people, maybe who are younger, David, would say, what do you mean Israel's always been there? But it hasn't always been there, right?
No, in 70 A.D., the Romans virtually annihilated the population of Jerusalem. They slaughtered over 1 million men on crosses. They created they cut down so many trees to make crosses that they denuded Jerusalem and the hills around Jerusalem. And it took the Jews coming back to the land in 1948 to start repopulating the trees around Jerusalem.
Wow.
And they plowed the Temple Mount. They sowed it with salt so nothing would grow there. And they passed a law that for to live anywhere in Israel, and especially in Jerusalem. So that's when the worldwide diaspora really got underway. And before long, Jews were in every part of the world,
except Israel.
Except Israel, and the Arabs, moved in, gravitated in, and began to live there. So Israel was outside of her land 1,900 years approximately. God brought her back according to many prophecies being fulfilled in May of 1948. And God said in Amos, I think it's chapter 9, the last 2 verses, he says, and when Israel comes back to her land, she shall never more be torn out of it. Mm. And so we're seeing all the end of the age prophecies gradually being fulfilled, and the Middle East and Israel in particular is the focal point. And remember what I said in the first hour.
Yeah.
The Illuminati plan for the appearance of their Christ, their Antichrist, calls for the Roman Catholic Pope, whomever he was at the time, to travel to Jerusalem at just the right time in world history to dedicate a new worship center that was built for all monotheistic faiths to worship there. You know, Christianity, Islam, and Judaism. And while he's dedicating that new worship center, the Roman Catholic Pontiff will declare from that moment on, all world's religions are one, and he is their head. So the Roman Catholic Pontiff is going to be the false prophet of Revelation 13, 11 to 18. And that vision is drawing closer and closer. It's getting very close.
And an interesting thing happened in nature. Shortly after Pope Benedict announced that he was shockingly stepping down there at the Vatican, right?
Right. A powerful thunderbolt, lightning bolt, hit the tip of the Vatican.
Yeah.
Now, I know that the Earth has many thousands of lightning strikes every day, and I'm sure that the top of the Vatican has been hit by a lightning bolt before. But the symbolism is just almost impossible to ignore. I mean, here you've got